What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another episode here of the Side Guys Football Forum. I am one of your co-hosts, Norman the Side, joined as always by my good friend, my good buddy, the other half of the Side Guys, Mr. Tad the Side. And Tad, it's been a while since we've been on the YouTube. You know, we did the live stream a couple weeks ago when we were talking about our free agency reactions with all the trades and lots of the signings. And, we went on for like a good hour and a half or so covering a lot of different topics.
Do you remember how innocent we were back then? Deshaun Watson was still a Texan. Devontae Adams was still a Packer. Things were just simpler times.
Yeah, it was a lot different in matter of just a couple of weeks since we last.
My buddy was like, "Oh, you guys did a top 10 mock draft." I was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna listen to it." I'm like, "Okay, just be aware we did this like a month ago, and a lot of stuff has changed." And I was just like, "Just be very clear about that."
Yeah, top 10 has shaken up. Obviously, there's the recent trade between the Eagles and the Saints, so that has shaken up the first round as well. Saints now have multiple first-round picks. It's just, things are going to get a little bit weird the next couple of weeks, depending on if we see any more trades. But, good to be back on YouTube here with all of our viewers out there. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to get into, Tad, this is your favorite month, I see.
It's the best time of the year, baby. It is the best time of the year. Screw December with Christmas. Screw February with the Super Bowl. This is the best month of the year. April, we got the NFL draft. We have the NCAA championship, which, by the way, props to Kansas. That takes a lot for me as a TCU fan to say, but Kansas, you earned that championship, baby. Good for you. And then we got, tax refunds. I just got my tax refund today. That's awesome. Like, April is just the best month of the year.
Let's not forget we got the start thanks to the lockout of the MLB season.
Oh, yeah. There we go. We got that going. I have my fantasy baseball draft tomorrow.
Yeah, so that should be a fun time. So, it's a pretty loaded month. And, the big one for us, obviously, is, we're in draft month. We definitely are going to go heavy with a lot of draft-related topics. And, we're going to kick it off here with our YouTube video here. We're going to talk about some NFL draft sleepers. So these are guys that, just are not getting a lot of recognition that probably they should because, they may be going a little bit later than some of these bigger names out there, but I think they're going to be solid, productive guys at the next level for whichever team that they land on. So, Tad, let's sort of, not waste any more time here. Let's sort of get into our NFL draft sleepers. Who's the first guy that you got as your draft sleeper?
All right, now, before we start on sleepers, we need to talk about this. Okay. You ready for this?
We need to talk about this, or
we need to talk. No. A little bit of both. A healthy mix of both.
All right.
Cap's there. He's going to discuss this with us. How in the hell is Trayvon Walker being seriously discussed as a number 1 overall pick?
Here we go.
Exactly. Here we go. Because it's ridiculous. Look, okay. I'm not saying Trayvon Walker's a bad player. He's not a bad player. But if I'm taking here's another thing, by the way. Defensive end, he's not a defensive end, people. He's a defensive tackle. If you think he's working out a defensive end, you're clinically insane, which congratulations, half the NFL scouts apparently, because they think he's a defensive end that can catch runners on the edge when he can't. He doesn't have that speed. So anyway, if I'm taking defensive tackle, 1st or 2nd overall, fine, okay, but that needs to be Aaron Donald level good. He is not Aaron Donald level good. I don't understand it. He had 6 sacks with Georgia last year. Okay, 6 sacks, that's nothing to, sneeze at. Is that the saying? I don't know. I got a head shake. That's what you're getting. That's the support I get is a head shake.
You're stopping your rant to confirm a.
I don't know. I don't want
to keep going with it.
All right, fine. Well, Trayvon Walker is not worth a 1st or 2nd overall pick. I don't understand what's happening, and the only reason I can think of is because he had a good combine. Which this reminds me, by the way, of our fellow LAFB employee Jamal that on the draft podcast who said the 4-yard dash is a stupid way to measure player speed because how often does a player just go directly straight, especially defensive tackle? Yeah, Trayvon Walker ran a 4.5. Great. When is he going to have a wide open field where he can just go whoosh and just go like that on the field? When is that going to happen? Never. Never is the answer. That's why I was met with silence because a defensive tackle is never met with an open field. That's the point of being a defensive tackle. So I screw sleepers. I don't understand why Trayvon Walker is being discussed as top 2 or, even the 1st overall pick. If he is selected in one of those picks, I'm going to lose my mind. Like that is just well, actually, I'm not, because if the Jags take him first overall, I'm going to be so happy. Like that is going to make me absolutely thrilled. But I don't understand this hype for Trayvon Walker.
We discussed this before the show that we were not going to bring this up.
I don't care. I do not care. This is ridiculous. It needs to be said.
All right.
I'm a pioneer, sir.
Pioneer of what?
of fighting against this ridiculousness.
Okay. Well, let's for the viewers' sake, let's move on to the actual topic at hand.
Viewers, you are welcome.
Who's your actual NFL draft sleeper? Let's not, go off these random tangents, please.
Oh no. I will absolutely go off on these random tangents when they are earned, sir. And this one's earned. Anyway, what were we talking about?
NFL draft sleepers. Who's your first?
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, NFL draft sleepers. Hold on. Let me look at my notes right. Okay. All right. Going back to the topic. Trayvon Walker. My top sleeper of this year's draft, and it was actually funny because you and I had a discussion, let's say, about this earlier today when I told you this was my top sleeper. Trey McBride, the tight end out of Colorado State. Now, okay, all right, with your reaction, I'm so glad we did this on YouTube. Yes, as you pointed out, a lot of people have him as their top tight end in this year's class, which he is, or he should be. Here's the deal, though. He is the top tight end, but I've seen some mock drafts that have him slipping all the way to the third round. This dude is a late first-round talent. Like the Saints, you mentioned it before, the Saints now have 2 first-round picks. If they spent one of their first-round picks on McBride, I don't even know who their starting tight end is now. Taysom Hill? Like, is that legitimately their starting tight end?
They have Adam Troutman out of Dayton.
You're really going to say Adam Troutman like that's a legitimate NFL talent?
They don't need to waste a first-round pick on
no, it's not wasting. That's what I'm saying. This is why he's a sleeper. Thank you for making my point. Because taking Trey McBride, you are getting the next Mark Andrews. He has the athleticism that's not going to blow you away, but he has enough athleticism to make him a solid receiving threat. But he also is talented enough as a blocker to make him that kind of dual threat or very versatile tight end where, I'm trying to think of an example of a tight end where you had to take him out of, a Hunter Henry type. Do you trust Hunter Henry to be a good run blocker? Not really. So you switch him out for John Smith and you got to worry about all that. That's not the case with Mark Andrews. It's not the case with Trey McBride. He is a good enough run blocker where you can keep him in for most of the game. So is he as athletic as Kyle Pitts? Absolutely not, which is why he's not being discussed as top 10 pick. Why he's not being discussed as a late first rounder? Beyond me. I know. I honestly think it's small school bias. The fact that he's coming out of Colorado State. If this guy was coming out of Alabama, out of Georgia, out of Miami, I think he would be discussed as a first rounder.
I'm not questioning his talent. I'm just, it's hard to call a guy a sleeper when he won the nation's best tight end award last year.
I agree, but again, I point you to them. Why is he in first round discussions?
I feel like there's talent at the other positions that is just so immense that it's hard to pass up on some of those other positions compared to going with the starting tight end. Like I completely agree with you. I think he's definitely very talented. He definitely should be possibly going in that bottom of the first round, but I just think that other positions, with it being such a heavy defensive line draft class, as well as offensive line draft class, you could probably see some of those receivers going at that end of the
that's what I was going to say. Traylon Burks should not be going before Trey McBride. Trey McBride is going to make a bigger impact on whatever team drafts him than whatever team drafts Traylon Burks. And there's nothing against Traylon Burks, but you're just getting a solid Jeremy Maclin, this is so bad. I'm blanking on the TCU receiver. Jalen Reagor. You're getting that kind of receiving talent at Traylon Burks. I'd much rather have a Trey McBride than that. So that's my whole point, is because you're right. That is absolutely why he's not getting first round hype, is because the receiver class is so deep this year. But at the same time, like it boggles my mind. He is easily the best tight end in this year's class. He should be going first round. He's a sleeper, damn it.
All right, no, you made a fair point, but just you also look at the bottom of that first round. You got the Chiefs who have back-to-back picks. They already got Travis Kelce. They drafted Noah Gray, I think, in the 4th round. I think of last year, maybe 2 years ago, that they think is hopefully going to develop. So I don't know if they'd go first-round tight end. You got the Detroit Lions who have T.J. Hawkinson already. So I don't know if they pair up a tight end
because he's the pinnacle of consistency.
Well, still, it's just they drafted him, they invested in him. That's like, I don't know if they'd go first-round tight end again to pair up with T.J. Hawkinson. They have problems at receiver, so they're a team that would go receiver. Obviously, have issues at quarterback. They have issues elsewhere compared to tight end specifically. The way I see it is that I think the tight end, unfortunately, is a luxury pick compared to some other issues that teams may have. That's why he's going to fall out of the first round. So I very much could see him going at the top of the second. But yeah, the talent is there. There's no question there that the talent is there, that he should be a first rounder, but just unfortunately his position, the tight end position, based on the needs and the way this draft class is shaping up, tight end is more of a luxury pick. And it's a very deep tight end class too. That's like, you don't need to worry about going heavy after Trey McBride.
That's what I'm saying. No, Trey McBride is far and away the best tight end in this class. That's what I'm saying is, yes, is this a deep tight end class? 100%. But Trey McBride is going to be the best tight end out of this class. Watch him bust and me just look like an idiot like 2 years from now. But anyway, all right, real quick before we move on to your sleeper, because I do want to hear your sleeper. All right, if we're gonna play this game of teams with late first round picks, number 31, Cincinnati. Do they need a tight end?
Well, they probably could use one.
We literally spent the entire last year trashing UJ Uzama, or is that how you say it?
Zama, yeah.
Zama, damn it! But we literally spent the last, Cincinnati needs it. Stop trying to help your point here. Tampa Bay at 27. Do they need a tight end?
They got Cameron Brate. I like Cameron Brate.
You're just trolling me at this point. Tennessee, do they need a tight end? Oh, I forgot by the way.
Austin Hooper. You can play this game all day if you want me to.
I swear to God, if you say Robert Tonyan, I'm going to just end this episode right here. Green Bay at 28. I skipped over them. Do they need a tight end?
They have Robert Tonyan and Josiah DeGuara.
Kick your ass next time I see you in person. Arizona re-signed Zach Ertz. Okay. Green Bay again. New England again. Pittsburgh. They need a tight end.
Pat Freiermuth.
Oh my God! Come on, man!
Get out of here! Pat Freiermuth is good.
He's the next Jack Doyle, where all he does is cut touchdowns or he's a bust. That's nothing.
Doesn't matter. You don't need to waste a first-round talent. Clearly, I'm pick on a tight end.
I cannot wait to laugh in your face 2 years from now, my friend. Who's your sleeper? Let me drag him into the mud.
Yeah, let's see you try and drag this guy into the mud. My sleeper is Travis Jones, defensive tackle from the University of Connecticut. Everybody in them, you can't do it, right?
Yeah, I can't.
Now, obviously, everyone and their mother is sort of talking about Jordan Davis, the prospect out of University of Georgia, and just the amazing combine that he had, just, testing out of the roof. I mean, a guy that's 6'6", weighing 341 pounds, should not be running a 4.78 40-yard dash, having a vertical jump of 32 inches, and a broad jump of 10 1/4 inches. Like, I mean, that's just insanity to think of the numbers that you put up at the combine. Now, the one thing you have to worry about is, like, there's been a lot of these combine, freak athletes that have happened in past history, and it just never lived up to the NFL level.
Vernon Golson, best example of that.
Exactly. Great example there. So you wonder if he will trend in that direction, but I mean, Georgia has so many great defensive players, prospects, offensive prospects too, but just
Georgia was just so loaded this year. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Combine, it was just like every other person that's coming up for a drill, it was a Georgia person.
I almost took Nakobe Dean as one of my sleepers, but it's just everyone already likes him, so I was like, all right. But sorry, anyway, keep going.
No, but anyway, so it's just like, everybody's sort of looking at this guy because he tested so well at the combine, but here's the thing where it sort of makes Jones a sleeper is because, maybe he didn't test as well as Jordan Davis did, but he has the skills to compete with any other defensive tackle in this draft class. Like, I mean, he can be that good. The problem is just, he went to a little bit of a lesser-known football school, University of Connecticut, right, as opposed to Georgia.
A little bit.
Okay, a lot of it. I don't know. You're having too much, PTSD from Donald Brown going to Connecticut.
Don't you bring up that name. Don't you bring up that name. We said he'd never be spoken on this podcast again.
Oh my gosh. But you know what? Travis Jones had a really good, impressive showing at the Senior Bowl. We did the live stream. I remember seeing flashes of him that's like, dude, this guy is making a name for himself. He took that, parlayed that into the Combine. He made a very good showing during the Combine as well. So, I mean, this guy really has a good set of skills. If you look at his stats from last season, he played in 11 games. He registered 48 total tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss, and 4.5 sacks. At the defensive tackle position, those are good numbers because obviously you're not going to be a primary pass rusher. You're a run stopper, and eventually, obviously, you get that good penetration to get some sacks too. So those are excellent numbers to finish out your college career. So, I mean, he has a lot of talent. I don't think that's a question there. Here's one thing, though. He does need a lot of refinement and development, too. So, I mean, you got that good balance where it's like you could see the potential with this guy, and you see the flashes on the tape, and you obviously saw it at the Combine. You saw these things, but there's also a lot of things that makes him why he's a sleeper. It's because there's a lot of things he could still fix and develop, which is good for your team, right? Because it's like you could sort of train him up. You could use him probably better as a 4-3 defensive lineman as opposed to a 3-4 defensive lineman. I don't think he has the size and body to fill up a one-gap. Yeah, that's the way I sort of see it. But you know what? I think he has the skills that he could develop into a 3-4 defensive lineman. I think just he needs to land in the right spot to develop into one of those starting defensive linemen to eat up the entire line. I see him pairing up with somebody better, and they have a tag team effort going up against an opposing offensive lineman. So that's the way I see it right now. But yeah, he very well has the skills and the capability and the willingness to probably develop and be a 3-4 defensive lineman, defensive tackle, nose tackle, whatever you want to call it at the next level. But honestly, for those teams that want Jordan Davis, and he's going to go a lot higher, unfortunately, and, you know, we'll see how that all pays out. For the teams that have to settle for Travis Jones, I think they may possibly come away with a future Pro Bowler at the defensive tackle position. Like, yeah, Colts would love to see. That would be a perfect pairing. DeForest Buckner and Travis Jones. That's just dirty right there.
I would love that. And this is bad. Kwity Paye,
Kwity Paye coming off the other side. Yeah,
Buckner and Travis Jones. Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, so honestly, I see him, especially as he's learning his way. You pair him up with another guy in a 4-3 type of defense. Then you wait, the handful of years when his rookie contract is over. He could hit free agency. He's learned a lot there. He could probably take on a larger role, fit into a 3-4 style of defense at that nose tackle position now that he's learned a little bit more. Possibly bulked up a little bit more too. But just, yeah, Travis Jones, whoever drafts him, you're getting an A+ product there.
I mean, I agree. Well, this is what I'm shocked, though, is because I actually see him fitting in immediately as a 3-4 nose tackle better. Okay. Because, and this is Zach Wilson and Rodgers all over again, this is kind of how his play, this isn't too bad, but this is who his play style reminds me of, because exactly like what you said, right? Defensive tackle numbers are not meant to jump out at you.
Yeah.
Like defensive tackles are just kind of, and it sounds very cruel, but they're just meant to be a body there to plug up the holes.
Yeah,
right?
It just sort of speaks to just how insanely good Aaron Donald is, because he is putting up those numbers, and he's defensive tackle, right? It's like, that's not supposed to happen.
No, yeah, you're not supposed to get double-digit sacks as defensive. That's not natural.
Oh, my gosh.
Travis Jones reminds me a lot of Marcel Darius.
Okay.
In terms of Marcel Darius had a very good long career. Is he still playing?
He's still playing.
Is he really? I thought he retired.
I don't know if he's still with Buffalo. I think he's somewhere else, but he might still be with Buffalo. But I know he's still playing.
He's not Gerald McCoy, Ndamukong Suh, or Aaron Donald type where he's a super athletic defensive tackle. No, he's a Marcel Darius where he's this very big. I love how I'm like modeling my body as if I'm the perfect model for this. Big. But yeah, I mean, look at this. Like, got this. Andrew Whitworth's got nothing on me, but please don't kill me for saying that. But anyway, so he's the type of big defensive tackle that can just kind of plug up those gaps, right, in the A and B gap. So I think that immediately he actually fits in a 3-4 system better, because it's literally just like, dude, just be you, just be your big strong self. You'll be good. We'll figure out the whole pass rushing techniques. You'll develop that as we go, whatever. Then you can pair up with a guy well. But until then, I think 3-4 is where he fits in better. But either way, I agree with you. I think he is a very, very good sleeper. He can literally, I could see him fitting in either system pretty well. Honestly, I just see him doing 3-4 a little bit better.
Yeah, so I mean, me and Tad are both reading it differently, but just the big thing I think we could both agree on is just this guy is going to be a solid player at the next level. Whoever
And don't
drafts him
forget,
is going to be lucky to have him.
The last UConn player to really blow up at the combine, Byron Jones.
There you go. There you go. Also on the defensive side. So there you go.
And just got a massive payday.
All right, let's move into some other sleepers that you got. You got one more for us?
So this is a guy that, you know what? Props to you, Amir. You're very gracious. I had another player in mind, and Amir was like, yeah, I don't know about that. It was Zion Johnson, by the way. And I was like, shit, then who do I pick? And then Amir was like, well, I'm trying to decide between these two guys. I'm like, can I have him? He's my backup. And Amir, to his credit, was like, yeah, take him, buddy. And I will admit, though, I will say it
solved my problem too. I was debating between the two guys. So.
Well, and I will say this though, is because you can attest to this. I was singing this guy's praises back in the Senior Bowl. You mentioned the live stream we did. I said during the live stream that this guy was one of my favorite players going to the Senior Bowl. It's Christian Watson.
Yeah.
I love this guy. It's just he honestly, man, he's probably my favorite player in this year's draft, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
It's
high praise.
It's him and like 2 or 3 other players. I'll reveal their names later. But for now, I'll admit that he is definitely in the running because here's the thing, okay? He's your Swiss Army knife. He is your Deontay Johnson, your Tyreek Hill, your Christian McCaffrey receiver where, you know, he's a fast white guy. He can kind of just run all over the field. He's very good at route running. He's very fast. And then here's what blew me away when I was doing research for the Senior Bowl is because when I was watching this tape, I was like, okay, cool. This is Wes Welker 2.0. This is Wes Welker in today's NFL. Of like jet sweeps are now a bigger thing. It's that kind of thing. And then I looked up his height. He's 6'4".
Yeah, I was about to say he's a way bigger than Wes Welker.
He's 6'4", but he plays like Wes Welker. It's insane. I love this guy. So honestly, I was looking at mock drafts while I was doing my prep today. Here's the crazy thing. I saw one mock draft here that had him going to the Chiefs in the first round. And like, that would be just like chef's kiss, brilliance by the Chiefs there, because that is how you make up for trading Tyreek Hill. Or is he going to make the same difference as Tyreek Hill? Absolutely not. Can he kind of, help curb those losses? 100%. So he is absolutely the best versatile weapon when it comes to receivers this year. I know a lot of people are shoving a lot of love for that with Burks from Arkansas and with Dotson from Penn State, but Watson, I'm telling you, this is a guy who could sneak up into that late first round and people will go, oh, what are they doing? But it is well earned. This guy is a future stud if he goes to the right team. That's the thing. He needs to go to a team that can utilize him properly.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot more mock drafts that are having Christian Watson going at the very tail end of that first round to Kansas City, possibly to Detroit. They need some receiver help.
Green Bay,
possibly
that would
Green
be
Bay.
great.
Exactly. Go from green and yellow to a different green and yellow. I mean, why not? From North Dakota. So yeah, I completely agree with you because we're watching that live stream and this guy was just making these flash plays. I think there's one play that I think he was underthrown on a play that should have been an automatic touchdown, but unfortunately the quarterback just underthrew him.
Ritter?
So
I think that was Ritter that underthrew.
It might have been Ritter. It might have been Sam Howell. I can't remember 100%, but just he still made an amazing diving catch to secure the ball, but if the ball was right out in front of him, that was a sure touchdown.
That was one of the plays. I remember that because that was one of the plays on our live stream. We're like, oh, and then we had to wait like a minute because we're not allowed to do play by play. Yeah, exactly. We're like, just hold on. All right, so let's talk about Christian Watson, and that's exactly how that went down. I remember exactly the play you're talking about.
Yeah, and then I think later in the game he had another almost huge play that I think got DPI, so they got a spot foul. Then they're trying to go for him as a fade route in the end zone, and he had the height too because once again this guy is not small. He's 6'4", so he can use him as a red zone.
Imagine it's what actually here's a better comp than everything else I came up with. Cooper Kupp, honestly.
Yeah. You could use him as that sort of red zone rebound monster to sort of get those fadeaway balls.
The unstoppable slot threat. That's what he is.
You could use him in the slot. You can also use him on the outside. He's built, like I said, to be a receiver on any position that you want to use him at. So, yeah, landing in the perfect team's offense will just totally unleash this guy's abilities. And yeah, the only thing that I worry about, you know what? They could totally use a receiver, pair him up with Michael Pittman Jr. and Matty Ice. Like, I mean, that's just going to be a dangerous sort of situation
we need
there.
Just send all the players our way.
Well, I'm going for the Homer pick. I really doubt he's going to last that long because the Niners don't have a first-round pick. But to pair him up with Trey Lance,
fuck you. You don't need another offensive player.
I would love to see that, but
you guys turn Elijah Mitchell into a legitimate weapon. You guys don't need him.
But yeah, that's why I said it's not going to happen, because this guy has that much talent, and somebody's going to recognize this, that he's going to go 100% early in the second round. Definitely could see him going in the first round. Like,
yeah,
it's just
no way he gets to the third. He is going second at the latest.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. So,
all right, so
yeah,
moving
Christian
on.
Watson, great player there.
I love it. Who is the player you sell for, since you were gracious enough to give me Watson?
Yeah, so there's two offensive players that I was debating between. It was Christian Watson, North Dakota State wide receiver, and running back from the University of Georgia, James Cook. So James Cook, I think, has the skills to be a really good running back at the next level, just like his brother, Dalvin Cook.
I was gonna go for the joke that I was gonna make the player comp of Dalvin Cook. Damn it!
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not the same player comp. Dalvin is a little bit of a bigger guy.
Hell
it's
no.
just,
yeah.
It's just not the same comparison. Like, I think James Cook, James Cook could be a really good player. Like I said, he's not going to be the dominant player that Dalvin Cook is. Like, when Dalvin Cook's healthy and he's running really well, like, I mean, he's very unstoppable. Like, I don't know how a defense can sort of contain him. Whereas James Cook is not built that same way. He's more of a refined, he's a finesse type of player. Dalvin Cook's more of a power sort of player. Here's the nice thing with Dalvin. I'm gonna confuse both these guys' entire segment. I hate this.
I'm not the only one screwing up names now. There we go.
But the great thing with James Cook when he was playing at Georgia was that he played in a rotation with Zamir White. And, you know, while Cook is not the same runner that Zamir White was, he still finished with the same amount of total touchdowns that Zamir White finished with. They both finished with 11, and they were actually tied for second behind the team lead. Blanking on the guy who led the team with 14 receiving touchdowns.
I got you.
I think it was Brockers, I think his name was. The tight end, the freshman tight end, I think is, but not 100% on that one. But just, here's the big thing, too, is that Cook, even though he was not the same runner that Zamir White was, he still finished, he led the team in scrimmage yards out of everybody else on that team. So, I mean, this guy is definitely talented in the pass game. You could definitely use him as a receiver, but he's still built to be a good running back, too. He hits the holds well, reads the right protections, hits the right holes. He's a very good, smart runner as well. And here's the great thing, is that because he was used in a rotation, he has a lot of tread on his tires. Because, Tad, I'm going to give you a quick pop quiz here. He obviously played with Zamir White the past 2 seasons.
Don't do this to me.
Who did he play with before Zamir White?
Running back?
Lead running back at Georgia before Zamir White.
Okay, obviously not Todd Gurley.
No.
Fuck. This is gonna make me mad when I hear this name, isn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Shit, okay, hold on. Fuck. Not Todd Gurley. It's not Nick Chubb, obviously.
No.
Also, can we just discuss? I'm averting attention here, but like Nick Chubb, Todd Gurley. Who was the third running back they had that year? Like, Georgia's running, like, I know Alabama gets all the love for like Tua and who else? Jalen, and they had a third guy there. Like, that was good, but man, Georgia's running backs is this diversion working?
I don't know. You tell me. You
I
guys
don't know
come up with a name yet.
Oh, no, it's the guy. Oh, no, I'm thinking Javonte Williams. Damn it. I'm thinking the UNC running backs.
Yeah, way different school.
All right, fuck it. I don't know. Damn it.
Throwing in the towel. Deandre Swift. Yeah, he shared a backfield with Deandre Swift, who definitely dominated during James Cook's freshman and sophomore seasons. His senior season, he paired up with Zamir White. He got a little bit more attention, honestly, as he played further in his career.
All right, I was distracted. I was looking up your stats, sir. You trapped me there.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, we'll run
what
with
are the
that
stats there?
Yeah.
Who was the leading receiver there?
Okay, we're going leading receiving touchdowns.
Touchdowns, yeah.
It was Brock Bowers with 13.
Bowers, that's who it was, yeah.
Then it was Ladd McConkney. I don't know. Lad
for Bowers
McConkey,
because that was the guy who led the team in total touchdowns with 14.
Bowers tight end, good call.
Yeah,
13.
and then White and Cook had 11 right behind him. So I mean, yeah, he was definitely involved in the offense. Unfortunately, not as much as a runner, but yeah, definitely a very legitimate pass threat out of the backfield. He just looks so smooth. He looks like a receiver, even though he plays a running back position. But just the huge thing is just he has a ton of tread on his tires because he is very rarely used. 230 total carries during his entire time at Georgia. So I mean, this is a very similar Josh Jacobs from Alabama sort of situation. He can sort of follow that same role where it's like he could become a premier back at the next level, but he's not going to be your every down running.
And you don't have to worry about that wear and tear too.
Exactly. Like, and I mean,
we were talking about that. What was it, last week's episode or 2 weeks ago on the podcast about like Zeke Elliott?
Yeah,
Ohio State, like they use him a lot.
Ran him into the ground practically.
Had a lot of wear and tear going to the NFL, and now we're seeing it. He's been in the league for 5 years now, and he's already maybe on his way out because it's just it's catching up to him.
No, totally. So this is the exact opposite, where it's like he was very rarely used at Georgia, and when he was used, it was effective. So it's like you see the potential there, and like we talked about, with the way the NFL is sort of shifting, you don't have that every down running back that you once have. You have a good premier guy that sort of leads your first and second down, comes in every so often on third down. That's exactly where James Cook has sort of fit his role in, where it's like you share a backfield with a guy, but he's still the lead guy. Honestly, it would be pretty crazy to see him pair up in Minnesota. I know they have Alexander Madison. Would that be pretty insane? Play with your brother? Their playing styles complement each other so well that's like that could totally work. But just I envision him sort of landing in a situation very similar to that, where they have like a very just another example, like a very Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon sort of situation where Aaron Jones is that pass catcher. He's still a very good runner too, but AJ Dillon's that power guy, gets you the short yardage, definitely some vultures, some red zone touchdowns from you. But
James Conner, Chase Edmonds from last year. I know that's no longer a thing, but how that worked last year.
Exactly. So James Cook, I think he could find a role like that where he's the lead back, but he's not the one and everything back. Like, I mean, you'll pair him up with another guys, but he's going to be still very, very effective. I'm seeing mock drafts. This one I'm not going to give you because they already have Naheem Hines. They have a few other guys.
You never have to
third time was not the charm for you, my friend. It's not going to work out for you at all this time.
Like I said, just send me all the players.
But as of right now, he's definitely projected as a day 3 pick, which, I don't see that happening. I think he has the skills to probably slip into day 2. I see him going as the middle of the 3rd round. That's the way I see his talent. I definitely think his pass catching skills are very, very good. Like, I mean, he looked really smooth at the combine. Like, so many guys, Maurice Jones-Drew was covering the combine. He's like, this guy looks like a receiver, but he's coming out of the backfield. Like, this guy just naturally is good at catching the ball. So it's like, especially with the NFL sort of shifting to that more pass-heavy type of approach with their offenses, this guy can fit into that mold very, very easily. So I know some people are picking him in the late 3rd, early 4th round. I'm thinking he will go in that middle 3rd round, or a day 2 pick for sure. Like, I mean, this guy has the skills to be a really solid producer at the next level.
So, Amir, I'm going to be very interested to hear your thoughts on this because I feel like I have a pretty good comp for him. I feel very strongly in this comp. And usually I'm very nervous about comps doing that.
Yeah.
But I very strongly feel this is a good one because this is a guy, exactly everything we've been talking about with him. This is a guy who was not will never be a good number 1 starting running back, but he filled his role perfectly. He was a good receiving running back, and we've been saying it for 2 years now. He should have been Super Bowl MVP. My comp for him, Damian Williams.
You mean?
Damian Williams. Damn it. D. Williams. The
D. Williams
running back. D. Williams.
I very much could see that. I still need to look at the tape a little bit more, but just, seeing their playing styles and the way Kansas City used Damian Williams.
Like he's a solid runner. He works as a receiver. As long as he goes into the system and they utilize him correctly, he can, he can utilize space very well when he gets it. Like, it's just, I don't know. To me, that was just the comp that was screaming at me the entire time I was watching him.
Yeah, no, I think exactly like you said, the way Kansas City used Damian Williams, I could very much see another offense using James Cook in a very similar style and yeah, get the same results. Like, I mean, he's a runner when he needs to be, but he's definitely utilized very much as a pass catcher out of the backfield, just very fluid, very smooth with that. So, yeah, as an early pick that, I haven't gotten a lot of chance to dive into, just off the top of your head, that's a very good comp. And yeah, I can very much see that happening at the next level. But yeah, James Cook, he could be a very good player, just like his brother Dalvin Cook. So yeah, make sure you watch out for that one there. So those are our sleepers and a little bit of a tad rant on Trayvon Walker.
Do not draft Trayvon Walker. First or second. Actually, no. If you're the Jaguars, absolutely draft Trayvon Walker second. Don't listen to me. What do I know? Just go for it, baby. You got it. It's just you paid Christian Kirk $80 million. It's a good move. Just go for it.
Yeah, this is just, the tip of the iceberg as far as our draft content is concerned. We're definitely going to go full steam ahead with a lot of great content coming up this month with both YouTube videos as well as the podcast. And hey, the best way you can find out about all the latest and greatest that's happening with us, we have the ticker down below. Make sure you're following us on all of our Twitter handles. We have the show handle at The Decide Guys. We got my personal handle, I'm Decide23. Tad's at TadDecide94. And hey, we got the Instagram on there too. I mean, we're posting a lot of great graphics with all the, signings that are happening.
I appreciate you saying we as if, I have some part in making those.
Well, you're part of the review process, and you're the one physically posting them with your clever captions.
I was about to say, hitting posts is very hard.
It's a big deal. So yeah, we got a lot of great content on there. Hopefully we got some more content for you coming the rest of this month as well. Biggest thing is obviously, wherever you listen to your podcast, make sure you hit subscribe. So, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, right on the LAFB Network website, there's a ton of platforms out there to listen to your podcast. Hit that subscribe button. You'll always be up to date when the latest episode is dropping. Like I said, you want all that draft content, hit subscribe both on the podcast and hey, you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe on our YouTube page as well. We got our own individual playlist.
Right down there, baby. Buttons right
down there.
Exactly.
We're right on the LAFB Network's YouTube channel. We're definitely got a lot of great things planned with the YouTube channel as well. So yeah, make sure you subscribe there. Interact with us on Twitter. We'd love to hear your thoughts about your draft sleepers, your draft buzz. We want to hear your take on Trayvon Walker because we clearly got Tad's take. So
No, we don't. No, I don't need to hear your take. No, he's terrible. If you disagree, you're just wrong. But let me know how you're wrong. I'd love to hear it.
Interact with us. You'll definitely get a shout out on YouTube or the podcast as well, or both. You never know. So yeah, to everybody that's, watching our YouTube videos, who's listening to our podcast, who gave us a good rating, who subscribes, who's interacting, anything and everything, guys. I mean, seriously, we just can't thank you enough.
And as always, check out LAFB Network. We have a lot of good draft stuff going on there. And that's where we're launching a lot of, our future draft plans the next couple of weeks. So be sure to keep posted there and check out our podcast for announcements as it progresses because we have a lot of stuff coming up. So it's going to be coming fast and furious. So thanks for watching, everyone. And be sure to keep track with all that coming up.